Hey, good morning. This is Maria Quattrone with Be the Solution Live. And today I welcome my guest, Gary Mercer from the Mercer Group at Keller Williams. Good morning, Gary.
Good morning, Maria. I'm excited to be here and share some time and spend some time with you and your guests.
I'm glad to have you here.
It's exciting. We're looking forward to it.
Okay. So my video doesn't want to play, so we're just going to go right into it. Gary, I'm so glad we ran into you at the beach at the restaurant a few weeks ago. It was really such a wonderful time to spend with you and your wife, and to meet my husband Chip, and it was great. So I'm glad to see you. I want to continue our conversation.
Great. It was a lot of fun, and funny how we ended up at the same restaurant and our tables being seated next to one another. So that was
it was meant to be. That's
Yep.
right. That's right. So Gary, I know you've been in the business a long time. It's like, what is it, over 30 years now?
Yeah, and I started probably when I was about 10.
Yeah.
I have been a real long time, over 30 years. I've been blessed to be in the business that long.
Yeah, it's a long time. And we met at the Mike Ferry events back in, gosh, I probably started going there in about 2006. So it's been a while.
It has been a while. I'd say that yes, about 2005, 6. I remember we ran into each other, and we would get a group of people and mastermind a little bit, talk about the topics and what we were doing. It was an exciting time and a lot of fun because we all bounced ideas off of one another, and we were all growing together.
It was a great time. Gary, we used to have to gather in hotel meeting rooms and sit in like a big circle or U-shaped and share ideas. But now we can share ideas on these podcasts, and we can share ideas. And what a lot of people are doing, Zoom meetings. And I think some people are doing Clubhouse now, although I'm staying away from that for the moment. But times sure have changed. But the one thing that hasn't changed, it's constant, is the sharing of ideas. So,
absolutely. And
so I thank you today for coming on to share your ideas and your thoughts about being the solution.
Well, it's my pleasure. I'm honored to be here and spend time with you again, and utilizing the technologies that we have today in order to do these types of things. It's very important to our business and communicating and connecting with everyone.
That's 100% true. So tell me, you started back 30 some years ago. How'd you get into business?
It was interesting. 1987 is when I got my license, and I had family in the business. I was in my family business, helping them out at the time. I had taken real estate law courses when I was at Drexel University, and really enjoyed that. And that was the first real introduction to it. And then we host a lot of dinners for my family at our house. And so the conversation always comes to real estate. And the fun thing about that was I had just had an interest in it, studied, and at that time read the papers and the ads, and I knew more about what was going on around the local market and the values and things than some of the people that I was interfacing with. And I thought, you know what, I should get into this and do it. And that's what started it.
And that's it. You never look back, right?
Never look back. No.
So you're in the business. How long before you started realizing that you needed help?
That was shortly after I got into the business. I would say within a year or two, I realized that I was doing a lot of dollar productive activities that just weren't the best utilization of my time. So I realized that some people were good at paperwork and doing various tasks that would free me up to do the things that I needed to do to build my business and production. And I started growing like that. So literally, I pretty much went through every step of the process, Maria, meaning that in the beginning, when you're an individual agent, it's like, boy, I have to be responsible for another person, bringing them on. What's that going to be like? And I literally started with a part-time person to a full-time person to two people to building the team. We were probably one of the first groups or associations, if you will, in the area that really started the whole team concept. And then I started bringing agents on because I had people in my operation on my operations side working for me, and there were other single agents who needed that help and assistance. And I'm there. Well, come on with me. We can share this. We had the bandwidth or capacity from the operations team to be able to do that, and it literally started growing from there. So from part-time to full-time to two people to an agent joining me, and then it just continued to escalate right all the way through to today. We're about 30 people with over 20 sales agents and 10 people in operations.
So from the very beginning to today, lots of trials and tribulations, and I'm sure lots of failures along the way. And when you started, Gary, how did you, cut your teeth in real estate? Who were your clients? Who did you call?
Those principles never really change. So even when new agents come on and join our team today, we want them to identify their sphere of influence, their database. We want to get them plugged in with that to our systems so that we can really jumpstart them to get into sales and get sales going for them. So that's the first thing I did. Reached out to those who knew me, my database, my sphere of influence, started contacting them, letting people know I was in the business, and delivering a high quality of service all the time. And so then they would refer me to more people, and it literally grew just like that, and then became organic. And then we implemented various systems as over the years the business has changed and evolved.
So if you
believe it or not, and this will age me a little bit and date me, I remember the days of the real estate books and the dot matrix printers, which a lot of people don't even know what they are today.
Oh, yes, the real estate book. Well, that's just a little bit before my time. A little bit. I got into the business, and I remember the triplicate having to write the contract. And then
yes, press hard. Here's your pen, press hard. We have to go through 5 layers of paper, basically, and carbon papers.
That was
indeed.
After about 5 of those, Gary, I said, I'm going to get an assistant because I can't deal with the paperwork. So
I understand. Yes.
It was, yeah. So you have to always have a good support team. You have a big team now. You have 20 agents and I guess 10 support people, operations, admin, marketing, probably runners, right?
Yeah, we have a marketing, a social media specialist. We have a professional photographer, a videographer on the team. We have a closing department, transaction coordinator, listing coordinator, virtual assistants, ISA, OSA, operations director. And they're all there to support our agents to make their job as easy as possible so that they can do what they do the best, which is find buyers' homes and sell homes for our clients. And so the easier we make that process for them, we support them in that journey, the more successful they're able to be. Whereas in the past, quite frankly, as an individual agent, you're responsible to do all those tasks. And there are a lot today to do. And so it works really well. And I think that's why you saw the evolution and the embracement of the team concept in the real estate space. And today we see it's prevalent everywhere. And there are some big teams doing some tremendous things out there.
So that was my next question, Gary. So a brand new agent comes into the business today and they say, Gary, and they live in Illinois. So they can't join your team. So Gary, they ask for your advice. What's the first thing that you tell them to do? They're newly licensed. They haven't joined a brokerage or a team.
Well,
What's your advice to them?
Okay, I would advise them to, quite frankly, go out and interview with different teams and brokerages to see where there is a good fit for them as an individual and how that fit aligns with what they're trying to do and achieve. So it's really comes from a standpoint of basically like a needs analysis and where they're most comfortable. I think that's important that they have a mentor in the business. And as you know, we both have mentors and coaches, and they need to be comfortable in that environment so that they can learn, grow, share, and be active and do the things you need to do to be successful. It's not hard work, but as we always say, it is a lot of work.
It's simple, but it isn't easy, right?
Right.
Right. So would you say to that person, would you, if they said, well, should I be by myself or join a team?
I asked them a series of questions about their personality, what they want to do, what their goals and aspirations are. And then I try to align that with those who are on a team and what that looks like and the pros and the cons for going out on your own, which is absolutely fine, or being associated with a team, and understand the risks and rewards, the pros and the cons, and to see not all people are team players and team people. Some are going to be individual entrepreneurs, and that's fine too. So it really depends on the person, quite frankly.
Yeah, I think it depends on the person. I think though it's hard today to do. I think maybe 15 years ago you probably could have done all the jobs okay. But the demands of society and the consumer today and wanting everything right now, it's really is getting harder and harder for that individual agent to survive and thrive in this current state with, on demand of Amazon and Uber and all these other things. You can't be everywhere at the same time. It's just really not possible to do that. And so I think we're going to see some of the bigger teams get bigger. And
and that seems to be from everything that I read, what the trends are. There is the growth of the team, and 20 years ago, you never really even heard of that concept. Maybe two people got together and worked together as agents, but that was about it. And you're absolutely right. I think the business has gotten more complex from the standpoint of all the technology tools that we've incorporated into the business and the things we need to do to stay on top of those, and all of the activities and processes that an individual agent needs to do by themselves can impact your productivity if you're doing it at a high level. We all know that in our business today, it's pretty much 24/7 on call. So why not leverage that and have systems, models, and people in place in order to have a life while you're doing real estate?
Right. Have a life while you're doing real estate. I think it's real estate has become a lifestyle, right? I don't know about you, Gary, but I'm going to guess like me that wherever you go, you could be in the grocery store if you go in there, or you could be waiting in line for a coffee, or sitting at dinner, and somebody within 5 feet of you is talking about real estate.
Yes, it is a topic of conversation. It always comes up, and no matter where you are, and that's okay. And I'm honored to talk about it. Look, we represent people with some of the biggest investments they have in their life, and that's an honor for them to turn to us to do that. So there's a great responsibility with that. And you know how real estate is. It's basically you're on call all the time, and you're in a situation where you need to help them and make the process as smooth and as easy as possible. And people ask me, oh, isn't the same thing over and over again? And I say no, because every transaction takes on its own personality, has its own little bumps in the road or curves that are thrown at you. And you know, you need to be able to handle it, to deal with it, keep it all smooth, keep the stress levels of the buyers and sellers at a minimum, and uh, you know, achieve the goal of meeting the goal of getting them a house or selling their house.
Absolutely. I'm so humbled over the last year of being able to serve so many families. I think through this pandemic we've been in, owning a home and where you live is important more now than I've ever seen. And I don't know, I have a different feeling about it than before. I've always loved the industry, but the way that people look at their home and where they live now has changed. What do you think about that?
I agree with you 100% on that. What we're seeing now is two people working from home, and they want those separate office spaces. The demands of what they want in a home. A lot of people now ask us for, they want to have a property for a pool or the ability to put a pool in. So I think that dynamic is shifting in a way that people will be spending more time at home with the ability to work from home now for a lot of people. And so that changes the whole concept, where I think the community comes together more, because you see the children out more and around more. You see the parents around more because they're working from home. And so they're what they're looking for in a property has changed along with that. So that's an important part of it. And when the pandemic hit, I know that changed the way we were doing real estate. Maria, you probably found yourself in the same situation, as we were pretty much shut down. And I think the key to that, you know, go figure. People were saying, "Oh, you know, change your goals and plans for the year. We don't know how this is going to affect business, et cetera, et cetera." Well, yes, we were kind of shut down, but here's an example of you know, being versatile, if you will, and dealing with the situation. As soon as that happened, we said, "Well, look, we're not going out of business. We have a lot of people that rely on us." We embraced the whole world of doing things virtually, and just commanded that space for that period of time, shifted everything we did to virtual, and we were still able to sell homes and deliver quality services to our clients and get homes sold. I mean, I can tell you, during those the strictest months that we went through, we were selling homes with people not even going out or going through them. They were literally virtual sales,
Yeah.
and it worked. And so my point about that is, we can't control some of the things that impact us in the market, but it's how we respond to them and those situations that's the most critical thing. And so having that mindset of, okay, we're going to have to do business different. Let's pivot, shift to that, and let's own the space, or do what we need to do to be the people that deliver the services that our clients are looking for and need during this time. And just to give you an idea of shifts, for example, back in 2008, 2009, when we had the meltdown, the mortgage crisis and all that, there was anywhere, I just looked at the statistics, 8.7 months supply of inventory. Well, fast forward to today, and what that's like, we have a month's inventory.
It's a month's inventory, especially where you are. There's definitely less inventory than where we are.
There really is.
So Gary, since you brought that up, what what to do. What are you doing about it?
Well, we've made an effort to go out there and um, talk to clients about the benefits of selling now, and there are a lot of benefits. One could argue we're at the peak or the curve, the pinnacle of the market, because we know all markets shift, and we don't know when that's going to happen. We know that there are individual dynamics in the marketplace taking place right now in terms of lowest interest rates in history. Um, the demand is definitely there. People need homes. And so the biggest challenge, quite frankly, is a lot of sellers are scared to sell because they know their home's going to sell quickly and they won't be able to find another property. So that's probably the biggest challenge right now. And sometimes that is absolutely true. They may have to pivot to a short-term rental unit or be prepared to do something other than go right into that next home, because their concern and fear is, well, I don't want to get forced into a property I really don't want to buy because there's nothing to buy. And then the other part of this we see for the buyers is, we're seeing 30 offers on a property, continual multiple offers on properties. And so there are people that are going to be disappointed that aren't going to be able to get every home that they go try to buy. So we teach our agents how to deal with those objections and work through that process.
So what are some things right now that you're doing to combat that? I mean, 30 offers, 100 showings. I'm hearing things, and Philadelphia County, downtown especially, we're busy, and we're moving product, but there's no 30 showings, and 100 showings, and there's no 30 offers.
Well, even crazy. I mean, and we experienced this in the build-up pre 2008-9 meltdown, and it became one of, wow. We were seeing multiple offers back then. We were seeing over asking, and we're seeing that a lot. Believe it or not, we're hearing and getting stories of prices 100,000 over asking, and not only in the 3 to 500 price range, but in the over $1 million properties. I mean, I was told a story the other day on a property listed at 1.50 that had over 70 showings in less than a week, and the multiple offers bid up 160,000 over asking. So, I mean, that's the kind of world that we're living in right now, and I think you have to educate people about what that is so that they can make informed decisions as to whether they want to do that or not. And we saw that, history does repeat itself, so we did see that happen in years past. And that's maybe that's a signal that, wow, let's see what happens here. So look, there are properties that come on the market, even in this market, that don't sell because they're not prepped right. They're not paying attention to the I'll call it the HGTV trends that people like to see, and with turnkey operations, they want to come in. People want the house perfect. And because they're paying top dollar, and that's what they're looking for. And when you don't deliver some of that, then that even those properties can tend to lag until they get to a price point where the market will accept them.
There's certainly a lot of overpriced properties. I've seen them. I've looked at them, and when you have a property that's overpriced and it needs complete, it hasn't been renovated since the people bought it in 1971. Which is fine, but not when you want top dollar for it, and then you want us to do all the sweat equity and put all the cash out, $500,000 renovation. Like, those properties are still sitting. I still watch the same one. I've called the agent, and in fact, I was taken back by, well, they're not going to accept. I look at it like, look, we're trying to make something happen here for the buyers and the sellers. And not to say let's work towards getting something that would work, then they're not going to accept anything less than close to asking. And it's kind of like you go back and you think, is this reality?
Well, I think it goes back either even further than that. I think it goes back to the topic of your show here, your podcast and YouTube video of being the solution. And I think we are, as many of your other guests have said, what we do, we're problem solvers. We need to be the solution for people, whether it's our agents, whether it's our clients and customers. That's why they come to us and turn to us. So I have, as part of that, a very simple philosophy that I try to live by. And that is, there isn't any problem that's so big that it can't be resolved by reasonable minds and reasonable people. And that's always how I look at these things. So what we are is we're problem solvers to be part of the solution, to help the people that we come into our lives solve their problems for them and be that solution for them, so that we all can continue to grow, improve our communities, the people that we serve, and what we do out there.
100%. Being able to be that solution. And sometimes, Gary, sometimes you got to dig down deep and look at the mirror.
Absolutely.
Right. And
Yep.
sometimes, there'll be tears. I'll be looking at the mirror and there'll be tears because I know that I made a mistake.
Yeah, and we all make mistakes and do that, and that's we're human, and that happens. But the key to it is own it, move on, grow, learn from it, and move on. And and through the years we've been in this business, I mean, quite frankly, sometimes the problem lies with the ego or the agent on the other side that we're dealing with. Sometimes that's the issue. So don't let that get in the way. Just try to be the problem solver and seek to understand, and then you can move forward.
I think that, I have written in my phone here, I put it on my daily schedule. It comes up every morning. I think it's at 7 a.m. It pops up in my schedule and it says, I'll read it to you. I only fail if I give up, and I never, ever, ever give up.
Well, I love that. That's the key to it. And many of the books and things that I've read, that's my mantra too. Never, ever, 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 ever give up. And if you stay focused like that, look, good things are going to happen. They're going to happen for you, family, or whatever you're trying to achieve. But it's not like an overnight miracle and success, typically, unless you win the lottery or something like that. But this business is, quite frankly, this is what I tell people: look, you need to treat this like your job, number one, and you need to have systems and habits and create routines that do the activities because they work if you work. And if you're doing those activities time on task over time, you'll be successful. And you'll achieve what you're looking to achieve. But you need to understand it's doing the activities that drive business and following sound business principles as you're building a business, where even if you're starting out as an individual agent, it's having that discipline, that routine, that morning schedule, and getting, eat the frog, get the tough things out of the way right away and get into the activities that will bring you business. My mantra for a number of years, as soon as I hit the floor in the morning, was unemployed today until I make something happen. So I need to have the energy, enthusiasm, be do the things that I need to do to make something happen today. And that starts with one appointment a day. And find an appointment, connect with people, do the things you need to do, and business will come your way, no doubt about it.
So you have a daily schedule, Gary?
Absolutely. I have
What I know you have.
schedule.
What does it look like? Share with our listeners.
When I was in my prime with this, I would get up in the morning. I would have an accountability call at 5 a.m. I would go to the gym at that time, or go to my home gym, workout. Typically, I would get to the driving range by 6:30. Hit balls till 7, and 7:30. Get back, be in the office by 8:30, and start my routine. I also try to give thanks and gratitude every day, and I do take time to at least read at a minimum of a few pages a day, something that is uplifting, or sometimes you're dealing with a challenge and you have a library or books, you turn to them, look at a chapter, oh yeah, that's a good way to address that. So I stay engaged with all that. Once I get into the office, I was getting on the phones, doing the activities that I needed to do. And in my case, it was prospecting and making my calls and following that schedule, going on appointments in the afternoon and evenings.
So you mentioned books. What are some of your favorite books that you would recommend to anybody who's starting out in any business? I would say I would read these 3 books.
I would start with, and one of my all-time favorites is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I would also, it depends on, what you're trying to do. Are you building a team? There are a number of great books on team, Unstoppable Teams. Lencioni's books on the ideal team player. These are all good books to have. I have read all of, in fact, here they are right here, Gary Keller's books.
Oh yeah, I see them.
Shift.
I can see the red one.
Yeah, these are some of the ones that I read and keep in my office. Here's my favorite, Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah, good.
I'll give you an idea on it because this is important. Unstoppable Teams is a good book as well.
Who's that by, Gary?
That is by Alden, Alden Mills, and Patrick Lencioni.
5 lessons.
He does a lot. Oh. There's another one that I've read and turned to. In building the business and running a profitable business, this is a really interesting book. I have a couple of his books. Keith Cunningham, The Ultimate Blueprint for an Insanely Successful Business.
Oh, I haven't heard of that one.
Well, let me tell you the backstory behind this, as it was told to me. And that is that Keith Cunningham was the figure in the Rich Dad, Poor Dad series by Robert Kiyosaki.
Wow.
And he, in essence, was the figurehead for the Rich Dad, as the story was told to me.
Huh. And his name is Keith?
Successful business person out there. In fact, another one of Keith's books, and I would start with the ones I'm sharing with you because I think it's very important.
Yeah.
Keys to the Vault is a good one. And as you're building and running your business and your teams, I found this book to be very helpful and pretty important. It's called Profit First.
Yes.
That's a really good book.
I have that one. But I've not found an accountant who runs their business, the business that way, though.
No, but I've used some of the principles in there and work those principles in the business, so it keeps you focused on operating a profitable business at a high level And then in Gary Keller's book, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, he breaks down percentages by which you should use as guideline for your business. So the key thing, Maria, is I don't have to invent the wheel in every area of what I'm doing. There are people that came before us that share ideas, and you can incorporate those ideas as long as you're open to them. Here's one that's really important for new agents. I don't know if you've read or had that, The Miracle by Hal Elrod. These are all are really good books to to start with. And of course, I read as many as I could in my early days on real estate and sales, and got involved with that. But I've also been very fortunate to always have some really good mentors, key people in the industry, helping and sharing advice along the way. And I think that's very important to have coaches and mentors that you can turn to who have had experience, have knowledge in various fields. And, if you absorb that, apply it and utilize it, things, things happen.
Things happen. All the best players have at least one coach, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look at it like in sports and at a high level of achievement with athletes. They all have coaches, many times multiple coaches. And the coaches and mentors are there to help them achieve at a high level and to break through a ceiling that they may have imposed upon themselves.
Sometimes it's not all lovey-dovey, right? Sometimes
sometimes
getting kicked in the ass.
Conversations, yeah, exactly.
Like I'm getting kicked in the ass right now, so
yeah. They challenge you, and that's what a good coach will do. And sometimes they tell you things that you may not want to hear, but nobody's out there to beat you up or hurt you or harm you in any way. They're there to help you succeed at a higher level.
No doubt.
And then that's what we do with our agents. I mean, our goal is to help them become the people they want to become and to live their life by design. And I hope my world is big enough to include all those people in our world, so that we're improving lives, and I'm seeing them achieve the things and holding them accountable to achieving the goals and the things that they set out to do. It's not what I want them to do. And I've heard this with other speakers you've had on. Look, I could want it more than an individual person on our team or that I'm associated with could want it for them. But it's not what I want. It's what they want and how they want to go about it for them. Yes. But you have to have that passion. I do have a passion. I love seeing people succeed at a high level.
So that's one of the things I said. Oh, excuse me. One of the lessons I learned. You can't want it more for them than they want it for themselves.
That's absolutely true. And there's no doubt about that. I mean, you can't give them that motivation. People need to have that fire within their own spirit to want to achieve, want to be of significance. And if they don't, that's okay too. Help them to do and be where they want to be.
Yeah,
but at least show them.
I think understanding it. I didn't have that understanding years ago that I couldn't take the magic and put it inside of them. I only can have a platform for them to be successful at, and then they have to take the action. We can't do that for them.
You can't give them the action. That's absolutely true. What I think we do is provide the atmosphere, the systems, the structure, the support that will enable them to do that. Because when I first got in the business, it was basically the old adage, and I make a joke about it, because I've had some good mentors and help along the way, and I'll be the first to admit that. But here's your desk, here's your phone, make your calls, you're on your own. And that's basically, well, what do I do? And so I think that's the hard part, especially for new people getting into the business, and that ramp up time and the time from even if they get in day one, it could be 45 days before they're seeing income, and then there's a ramp up period of time. So that creates some challenges sometimes for people. So our goal is to help them get there as quickly as possible.
Yeah, you want to help them get there as quickly as possible so they get some momentum. They already have built in more momentum, builds confidence. And Gary, it's something we talk about. I wasn't kidding about like the coaches, and we're somebody's coach, somebody's our coach, and you never arrive, right? Like I wrote this the other day. I was working on this test I'm doing, and I wrote, "You never arrive." And people are like, "What does that mean?" I'm like, "It doesn't matter. I'm at where I am today, but I'm not at the level that I'm going to be at. I'm never going to ever arrive." We think, "Oh, when we get to this point, we've arrived."
Yeah, and see, I've never felt that way. In fact, a friend and somewhat of a mentor from the past sent me a card one time, and I actually keep it up on my wall up here. And two things: it's not about the destination; it's about the journey.
That's right.
And the other part of that is, shoot for the moon. And in other words, think big, shoot for the moon. Even if you've missed, you still land among the stars.
Yeah, I love that one.
So there are two good quotes that
I think that's important.
It is important. But what that enables you to do, and like even where I am today, I love learning. There's always more to learn. There's always, there's just more to do, more to learn, more to be. And I think you're either green and growing, or you're red, ripe, and going in the other direction.
I go in the other direction. So people say, this is a marathon and not a sprint. And I say, oh no, it's an Iron Woman or an Iron Man.
And well, it certainly is. It really is. But
thinking about it,
we've been blessed with it. And the point is, look, I remember the days when we were back talking about, trying to build our individual businesses and what we were doing, and taking every step, every hurdle, and just continuing to learn, to absorb, to grow, and to be the best we could be at life, at business, at with our family, our friends, and it's a continuum, and we need to be growing. It's not all about work. It's about the various 5 phases of life, and you need to be aware of that and growing in all those areas. And I think that's part of the journey.
Yes, definitely part of the journey. And the beauty of it is that you get to write it.
The beauty of it is you get to create your own journey.
You get to decide.
And you get to decide. Absolutely. And you know what? That's the wonderful part of it. I mean, because the bottom line is you become what you think about most of the time. And you can become, and I truly believe this, you can become whatever you want to become, with tenacity, grit, and determination, and the attitude of never ever give up on yourself, never ever give up on others around you, because I've seen it happen.
What do you look for in a new? First of all, are you hiring agents, Gary?
We're constantly looking for talent, and we are constantly we need agents right now. We're in a growth pattern. Even in the pandemic year, go figure. If you talk to people in the beginning of that, and a lot of people just disengaged, they stayed at home. Netflix went up. They watched, they were, not doing activities, and go figure. That last year was our best year ever. This year we're on pace to break last year's record. And and my team has come out and even challenged me and said, you know what? We hit that goal you set up. We've surpassed that now. We're not thinking big enough. Now we need to go double that.
What's the double? What's the goal? what are the benchmarks for this year?
Well, we were over, our first target was to get over 500 units in sales, and we did that for over 250 million in GCI. And
Congratulations.
so they challenged me on that with my, I have an executive team and a leadership group within the organization. And so now we're doubling it. So we're on a path to do what we need to double that goal, bring in the talent and the people around us. And obviously, part of that is growth of agents, growth of our office in general, and go tackle that next goal and next hurdle. So actually, I look at it as a lot of fun.
That sounds like fun.
It is fun. It's like, okay, that's a big challenge. Now, what do I have to do as part of that to enable the people around me to achieve that and to utilize their strengths and talents to hit that goal? So together, everyone does more. And if you pull together in a team, and that's honestly, I put teams together since I was a little kid in competitive arenas and sports and things of that nature. And this is just an extension of that. I played a variety of sports and different things, and actually gave up my amateur status and had to sign off on that when I was in high school. Believe it or not, one of our teams was doing really well. So, yeah.
So who do you look for? What does your ideal team member look like from an agent standpoint?
Well, I think somebody that wants to participate and who is a team player, who sees the value in all the things that we're doing, who is willing to jump in, help others, participate in that journey and that process. And we take them through, KW has a lot of systems and career visioning programs. We have them go through that so we can help them and understand them at a high level. And we KPA them, see what their job matches and fits are. And it's really having that conversation. How can we help them achieve their goals? How can we hold them accountable? And are we able to, communicate with them? And I think having versatility, because as a leader, and even as a high level production of a real estate agent, you need the versatility to deal with a variety of people, a variety of situations, and a variety of personality types. And because we're all, as you know from our past training, we're all one dominant personality, and then another one comes out under stress. But you need to be able to speak the language of the people that are in that personality type, and be able to communicate with them to make them feel comfortable. And I think it's all about helping others in the long run, and achieving that, and helping them to achieve levels of success, and to challenge them to step up, to do more, and to be more than maybe even they thought they could be.
Isn't that a good
for all of us, isn't it? I mean, we all need that, and we all need to break down any limiting beliefs that we might have, because you become what you think about most of the time. And if you're thinking in that limited or negative mindset, that's what you're putting out to the world. And so, like I said, my mantra on it, look, there's no problem that's so big that it can't be resolved by reasonable people. And that goes for pretty much everything. And I truly believe that.
It's breaking it down one piece at a time and figuring
It's
out.
ultimately helping or being the solution. Right?
Isn't it?
Yeah, it really
Isn't
is.
it?
So that's a great title for your podcast.
It came about because of the pandemic. It actually, what's today's date? It's the 24th of March. We just were in our first week of lockdown last year. You say lockdown. It sounds like we're in prison. Maybe we were.
Well, maybe we were in a way.
I was in my house for 10 weeks, but the first week I have great people working with me, and we said, what are we going to do? I said, I don't know. I'm going to hopefully not lose my mind, because I'm not going out to all the networking and all the events and just even walking around town. Our office is a few blocks from Rittenhouse Square.
Mm-hmm.
So I would always be over there, and I would see people on the street, hi, waving, chatting them up. So I said, what are we going to do? And they said, you're going to do a podcast. I said, I'm going to do a podcast. I said, I don't know. And then we talked about what it would be called. And we said, what do we do? And I said, one of the things that I think we're problem solvers. Clients hire us. We get hired a lot to be the second and third broker, because I built the business when I started on calling expired listings.
Sure.
And so that was a big part of how I got started, and I got them sold, and I knew what to do that. And so I always looked at it like I solved problems. I saved a lot of people back in the days of 08, 9, 10 from going into foreclosure and losing their homes, because we knew how to maneuver through the deal. And I knew that if we didn't get this work with these people, that we wouldn't have been able to. If they went to somebody else, the deal would not have gotten done, probably. And so I said, we're solutions. We're the solution. We're problem solvers. So we said, be the solution. So it was, that's how it came about. And it's our number one core value. And I do work every day to be the solution. Some days I miss the target because, well, I'm a human, and sometimes I don't do the right thing. And, and the next day I got to get up and put my big girl panties on and keep going. And,
it's all about what can I do better? What can I learn from? And how can we keep moving through this journey of life and interaction with others at a high level, and be valuable and significant in helping others and helping them achieve their goals, whether it's at all levels. I mean, isn't that the bottom line? And I think that both for individuals and for ourselves as leaders and business owners, that all starts with having goals, having a plan, implementing the plan, working the plan, and even the best laid plans need adjustments. Just like, some days we need adjustments. Some days, quite frankly, I come in and I need an attitude adjustment because it was whatever happened.
Because life happens, Gary. Because
exactly, because
life happens.
Does happen, and so it's not all perfect, but it's like recognize it and put that smile back on, and get to the activities you need to get to and move forward. It's just like when you're working out. I mean, there are days when I didn't want to drive to that gym at 5 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, and get there and work out. But guess what? That's the discipline and the habit and the routine. And when you do that time on task over time, good things happen. So it's just a matter of really being dedicated to it and determined and focused on those things. And if you are, good things will happen. You can work things into your schedule. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be on call 24/7. You can manage that and handle it. But if you're not focused on that, real estate can consume you, and when you're producing at a high level. And so, I give you a quick story on that. And that's when I learned leverage. I was with my family on vacation in the early days, and we were down at a shore location, and I didn't have early on an assistant, so I had to do it all. And of course, right the day I went away, and the next day an offer came in, and in those days, you didn't have the email or any of that, so Interestingly enough, that client was down at the shore at the same time, and I ended up going to an office and meeting who is a good friend of mine today. Asked him if he could help me out, print out a an offer that I had. I took it to the beach, and we were literally out there, and they signed the paperwork on the beach, and we went about our vacations. But my point of the story was, that time should have been with my family, and I had to, I had to break out, do that. It worked out fine, but then I realized that at that point that, boy, I can never really carve that out unless I start to learn to leverage and delegate and have people in my life that could give me that time when I'm away, so that I can concentrate and be with my family 100%. And so that was the beginning of that lesson. And even though it worked out well, but the clients, it's like, they expect you to be there for them and be that solution, and that's what you signed up to do. But that doesn't say you can't have any free time and you can't control your time, because you can. And if you leverage it, and a lot of teams provide that, people can jump in, support systems can do things like that. That's part of that benefit and value proposition.
Absolutely.
But it was a learned lesson, because my family is important to me as well, and as such, today I'm blessed and honored to say my son and daughter are in the business. They're an integral part of it. You met my wife Joanne. She was able
She's amazing.
to speak real estate. She helps out with our social media and a variety of activities within the organization. And working with that family dynamic, it's worked out well. Sometimes that has its own individual challenges.
Yeah, no doubt.
Good, and we treat all the people that join us like family, to be honest about it, and family members, and we're blessed to have them in our world.
Oh, that's beautiful. And that's that's Gary. I've always known you to be that person, and you have such a giving spirit about you, and you've always been solution oriented, and you've always been very thoughtful and very open to helping others. So I appreciate it.
I tried to do that in my early days through for a number of years chairing the Realtor Lawyer Committee, being on the board of directors. I've been on a number of board of directors, trying to give back and help out too.
Yeah.
Sports teams, coaching, or being an assistant coach because of the demands on my time. Because your children only go through a certain age group basically one time, and you can either be there and support that, or you can miss it. And if you miss it, you don't get it back. So, but one nice thing about real estate is you can arrange your schedule to be able to be involved in that and do that. It's just a matter of planning, timing it out, time blocking, things of that nature, all the things that we've learned and applied.
Yeah, time management is key, because you can be, hey, I have a game at 4 o'clock, and I could be at somebody's house. You could be there at 6:30 for a listing appointment and still fulfill the obligation to the family and to the client.
Absolutely.
So that's the beauty of it. Or say, Saturday morning games with the kids, but I could be there by lunchtime to get that done. Or, there's so many options.
Time block it and plan it. You can get it done. So what's the example when you're going on vacation or you're going to be away for a week or two? What happens prior to the time you leave? All of a sudden, you're getting more done than you thought you could get done.
That's right.
And every time, like my team used to joke and say, you know what, we're a little slow. So why don't you plan on taking a vacation and going away for a week? Because whenever you do that, it all breaks loose and gets crazy, and we get extremely busy. So, that's just how it works.
Ain't that the truth? You figure out if you operate it like that on a daily basis, how much more you would actually get done. Because I know when you're preparing to go on a vacation, especially our vacations are usually, 2 weeks. So there's a lot of preparation that goes into it. I don't just get up and go. I
Yeah,
prepare for like 2 weeks before to go on vacation.
absolutely.
Right. And then I've learned that if I don't prepare properly and handle a couple little things here and there, it takes a while to get back into the groove of it. So you got to make sure you're prepping and you have all those ducks in line. But if you literally operate it like that on a daily basis, your business would change. Not you. I'm not talking about you, Gary. I'm saying
but in general,
right?
And you're absolutely right about that. So, but as leaders in that, and if we take that time, here's how I look at it. Shame on me if the support people and the people in my life can't jump in, take over, run that, and be the solution for the things that come up. Because if they can't and they constantly have to find me to give that answer or to do that, then how I look at it is that I haven't done my job with them and prepared them and have them functioning at the level that they need to and should be functioning at to do that. And then that falls back on me. So as leaders, I feel we need to be able to have those people in our life that we can go ahead and do that. And we know that the system, the operation is going to continue and that problem is going to get solved. Now, that's not to say if there was an emergency, I'm always available.
Yeah, of course.
In this world, and we're always available for our people. You know that, Maria. I mean,
yeah, of course.
You have to be. But
it's our responsibility to have the right people.
Yeah, and I think if we do that, we're running our businesses at the highest level.
Right, and you certainly are. So, Gary, your goal was at 500 units. Now you're going to be in the 1,000 club. I'd love to have you back on when you hit the 1,000 club, because that's now, I'm hearing this, 1,000 club there's many people that are working towards that goal.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
We're a little bit farther behind that at this point. We're working towards the 500. So this year, that's our goal, to be at that number. No doubt we will, come hell or high water.
The interesting thing about that is I went back and looked at that, and we've helped at this point over 5,000 people buy or sell, and we've achieved or very close to it. I haven't added the numbers, but I'm sure at this point we're over $1 billion in residential resale, and a little bit of commercial we do, but we're primarily residential resale and new construction. And that's a lot of people to be helping and helping financially achieve those goals and live. My job, when people ask me, I tell them, what's your job? I facilitate in helping fulfill the American dream, and that American dream of home ownership. That's what we do.
It's a beautiful thing. I hope that we can find more inventory as the pandemic dissipates. Hopefully.
Well, this will shift also, and
yes,
and hopefully we're starting to see that with a little bit more coming on for the spring market and giving people more opportunities and options. Yep.
Yeah, it is great.
Yeah.
It's great having you on today, Gary. You're a blessing.
To reconnect with you.
Yes, thank you for all you do for the real estate community and for your team and your family. And I look forward to having you on future editions of Be the Solution. But it's been great. I am honored and blessed that you spent the time with us this morning.
Well, thanks for having us. I'm honored, and hope that we get to see each other soon. And best wishes to everybody out there in their career. If they have a problem or concern,
how do they reach you, Gary, if somebody wants to come talk to you about joining your team?
They can email me at Gary SR. Yeah, that stands for senior. Sam Robert, Gary SR at GaryMercerTeam.com. And or feel free to call me, 484-678-6435. That's my cell phone. So feel free to give me a call, and I'd be happy to share my thoughts or help you with anything I can.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Gary. You make it a great rest of the week, and I will see you at the beach.
All right, sounds good.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Hey, everybody.